I'm pretty sure you've heard of 1984 by George Orwell, and if you haven't, you should probably read it. 1984 is basically the dystopia of all time. It brings some of the most famous and powerful symbols of a authoritarianism government into light, and it is without a doubt, I think, one of the best representations of what a dictatorship looks like and how the dangerous power of a government-run police state with no morals can be dangerous. It's inspired plenty of other dystopian novels too, and that just shows how amazing 1984 really is. Let's start with a brief summary of 1984. Our protagonist is named Winston Smith. He's an average member of a ruling party in one of the three powerful nations that now rule Earth. His nation is called Oceania. There's only one political party in Oceania, known as the Party, with a mysterious and powerful leader known only as Big Brother. We follow Winston through his daily life, a world ruled by the party, controlled rigidly by the party, which every device is secretly spying on all of the people. This spying is given its own symbolic phrase and also used as propaganda: Big Brother is watching you. Winston secretly dislikes the party and hopes to work with a person named O'Brien, who is a high-ranking member of the ruling party, but whom Winston suspects is secretly a member of a rebellious force known as the Brotherhood. Winston, meanwhile, works in the Ministry of Truth, which forces people to listen to the party's version of history, the Ministry of Love, which forces people to believe in the government and love the government, the Ministry of Plenty, which forces people to give up their resources, and the Ministry of Peace, which forces the nation to go to war. The party has even created a new language just to control the people called Newspeak, which is similar to English but combines words and tries to eliminate the meanings of certain words, such as freedom. Now, let's go on to the review. First, for emotional variation, I think that 1984 is great. It is very bleak, however. There are very few instances of humor or happiness or basically any positive emotion besides kind of a feeling of success. That's basically it. Most of the time, Winston is quite sad. The world entirely is very depressing. You're not allowed to have fun or do anything because, well, Big Brother is watching you. Although I would say the emotional variation is actually pretty good because there's a lot of variations between negative feelings. I don't think there are any positive ones at all. Now, the best part about 1984, which is obviously its ideas, topics, and themes. The central one is the idea of authoritarianism, a government who runs off a police state, basically, where it spies on everyone, deploys a secret police to capture people off the streets if they do anything wrong, and basically spying on every single citizen to make sure that there's no chance for any rebellion. While authoritarianism and control are both pretty large themes in a lot of literature today, this book was written in 1949, which is way earlier, and it's pretty accurate prediction. You can see a lot of it in modern years. The ideas of authoritarianism, control in media today, in movies, in books, they were all partially inspired by the idea of 1984 because 1984 was one of the first to actually do such an incredible dystopia. The last kind of unique theme that I don't see covered a lot in other books is the idea of loneliness and isolation. The people in 1984 are persuaded basically to not form relationships with each other and keep to themselves, which is in and of itself already an incredibly good idea if you want to rule a bunch of people, because they won't be able to form a rebellion if they're encouraged not to talk to each other. The party, the ruling party, the one with Big Brother, summarizes ideas in three contradictory phrases. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. It basically convinces the citizens that what they're doing is correct, that war is the only way that you could possibly lead to a peaceful future, that freedom is actually enslaving people to their own minds, and that ignorance is a strength because if you don't know anything, the party is the strongest it could possibly be. Now, 1984 excels so much, I don't think it really has any significant flaws. The character development is flawless, literally flawless. It is beautiful, and by the end, I'm not going to spoil too much, but by the end, the story really wraps up incredibly cleanly, and you can really get a sense of where the characters have progressed to. The lack of any positive emotions or happy things that happened in the book is intentional, and I think that it is the correct decision. This book should not be positive at all. Adding humor or lighthearted humor or like whimsies into the book just for the heck of it doesn't make a lot of sense, and I personally think that it works better just by being the cold dystopian heart that it is. In terms of written quality, it's also pretty good, I think. It doesn't have any significant grammatical issues. It uses some incredible metaphors and symbols. And I think generally that 1984 is an amazing book, just all around.